What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a big old news update for Destiny 2. We are going to discuss pyramids initially, and the ongoing threat, and continued warnings about them, as well as some very interesting leaks with potential info about future seasons. But we're also going to talk about brand new details for an upcoming weapon quest in the game. This features 2 separate hidden missions, as well as a community-driven step to impress Rasputin, and then the ultimate reward closing out Season of the Worthy. But on top of this, we also have a ridiculous Laurels Farm, which is very useful for the exotic ghost shell quests as well as some of the triumphs inside of Guardian games. But otherwise, we're going to touch on various updates, responses from Bungie, and more in the video. So guys, as always, if you do enjoy this one, a rating down below really helps me out. But now, let's get into it. And so first up today, a quick update on Rasputin's pyramid teasers. They've progressed once again, and not only are they a little bit further along, but now we can actually see stacks of these ships making their way toward our system. Without any shadow of a doubt, they are coming, and they're going to be very obviously a massive part of the story. As a side note, just yesterday, but of course a very related and spoilery side note, we did discuss a leaked cutscene from Jinsa, and this shows Jupiter, as far as I know, but with one of those pyramid ships only beginning to come into view for a couple of frames. And it does make total sense that we're seeing the outer stretches of the system in this cutscene. Seeing Jupiter potentially has links to Europa, and of course other Jovian moons of interest, so really interesting stuff, and I can't wait to see how this plays into next season, but especially a fall season, right? Personally, I would guess that the main story thread is certainly one that would need to be expansion material just to do it justice, but definitely very exciting prospects, guys, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts about it down below. We're going to talk more about Guardian game stuff in a few moments, but a very quick update on the progress of the competition itself. So far as I know, hunters have been in the lead pretty much since the event began, so in the community we had speculated this indeed could be the case, and so far is proving to be true, so of course we need to wait and see how things evolve, although if hunters stay in the lead for the next couple of days, I imagine it will be hard for things to suddenly swing the other way, but give us your thoughts below. Moving on, we do get extra details about a new hidden quest that we'll see in the coming weeks. And with the update yesterday, Bungie loaded up some data for content that'll be rolling out as part of closing the season. So initially, spoiler alert for a returning weapon, quest, and a community objective which we'll need to overcome in order to actually get the quest started. So first up, we do have a new quest called The Lie. And as we discussed previously, it is linked to the return of Felwinter's Lie from D1. Now, as part of this quest, Jinsa pointed out that there is going to be a community quest step, so this is text from the quest step itself. Rasputin wants a closer look at how Guardians work, help him set up a network of defenses, complete public events as a community on 3 destinations, EDZ, Moon, and Io. And we can see there is actually a score requirement for each of those locations for 3 million, and I'm guessing that's going to be 3 million points of some sort. But this is essentially the first step of the main quest, so it does kick off with a community-driven objective. And ultimately, once again, this will reward us with Felwinter's Lie from Destiny 1, but also potentially some very cool story. After we've reached the community objectives, Anna's going to call us back for an update, and it turns out that she receives energy signatures at coordinates sent by Rasputin, and the location is Vostok Observatory near Felwinter Peak. So we're going to be heading back to Vostok, the Crucible map, but in a mission called A Warmind Secrets. And right now these missions in the database do have placeholder images, so don't pay too much attention to the enemies we see on screen. But of course the observatory, the link to Felwinter, Rasputin, and the Iron Lords is pretty significant, and we can expect to get a decent amount of story during this step of the quest. But after making our discovery at Vostok, Anna will request shotgun telemetry, so there will be a step to make shotgun kills across the system and or in the Crucible. And when we have enough data, which we're not sure exactly how much we'll need at the moment, but once we have that, Rasputin himself will call upon us to visit him at the bunker on the moon. So finally, in this stage of the quest, we're actually going to get access to the secret part of the moon bunker, and this is the area we've spoken about recently. Players have glitched into it early, and it's currently kind of blacked out and very dark, but the space houses super old Warmind and satellite tech, and some dialogue that we discussed recently does indicate that Anna will help to translate a message from Rasputin, and we do learn that the bunker itself is an ancient safety AI that Rasputin has been using. So also, given that Rasputin is warning us about the pyramid ships, it's interesting that we know of other hidden technology on the moon, such as the Anomaly, and this houses an artifact believed to be linked to the unknown artifact from the pyramids. So it's possible that other old nearby tech could hold further clues. and maybe Rasputin will address pyramid ships once again, looking forward to that piece of content. But we also know that inside of the mission, Rasputin is going to detail his relationship with his son Felwinter. Again, I can't call it ahead of time, but the story potential, and potential being the key word, is absolutely huge here. But that mission that takes place in the moon bunker is called the Tyrant, and at the end of the quest, once again, we're going to get Felwinter's Lie. So a community step to kick things off, followed by 2 separate mission activities, other objective phases, but also lots of dialogue, and of course the secret location on the moon. So definitely a little bit more than what we first thought it would be, and I'd be curious to know how you guys feel about this one down in the comment section. Again though, Felwinter's Lie is coming into D2 with Shot Package as the intrinsic archetype, and that's actually an aggressive frame still at 55 rounds per minute, showing with 83 points of impact, and then obviously you get the benefits of more uniform pellet spread from Shot Package. It's also going to get full choke, accurized rounds, slide shot, and opening shot, so we'll see how it performs. But currently JP Deathblade maintains that as a best guess, the weapon ornament will become available on May 19th according to the schedule, so at the very least the weapon should be released by that point in time, but it's even possible that it could be released before then, given that there is a community scoring element as well. So let us know your thoughts on the new content we've got some info about today, guys. But of course for Guardian Games, we're slowly all working on unlocking Heir Apparent, but there is a Laurel Farm that you can use which is really useful for some of the triumphs and quests, so my friend Jarv's going to have a video about this on his channel, but you can really quickly farm the exotic Ghost Shell quest, as well as the Renowned Triumph where you need to collect a whole ton of laurels, but it also helps to progress the destination section for laurels collected in activities. Literally, I was able to farm out the Ghost Shell and the Renowned Triumph in around 35 minutes maybe, so basically you have to run the Garden of Ascilla Ascendant challenge with another player, and you can use the Pool of Light in the middle of the room to farm Shadow Thrall. Of course, with it being Ascendant challenge, the tincture actually lasts for 30 minutes, so it gives you a 30-minute window to do a lot of farming, but basically you have to complete the challenge up to the point where you have all 3 knights spawned into the room. Once you've done that, you need to kill 2 of the knights but leave 1 of them up, have 1 player stay in the kind of middle area in the arena, but have another player lead the last knight off into the distance about as far as you can to the edge of the map. And then the player that's led the knight away actually has to jump off the map. They'll die and respawn outside of the Ascendant challenge. And then if the player who's still inside the challenge gets ready near the edge of the map, the other player can reapproach the portal, and if player 2 who's been waiting inside jumps off the map just as player 1 re-enters, it's possible that you can actually make the knight glitch out on the outer skirts of the map, which allows you to simply farm Thrall in the center of the arena for the remaining time. Might potentially be a little bit tricky to pull off, but you can use it to farm these triumphs out very, very quickly. If you want a bit more in-depth detail on how it actually works, then I'll link my friend Jarv's video down below, because as you can see, the amount of laurels you get dropped is absolutely ridiculous. Of course, on the subject of Season of the Worthy content, the hard-coded Victory Triumph is also now achievable for the Almighty title. I haven't had a chance to try it out just yet, but apparently, and rather expectedly, the Moon event is going to be the best place to get it done. Because as well as good enemy spawns in this event, this week's enemies are actually Hive, which are generally less tricky to deal with than Fallen because they're not running around really quickly and things like that. So just a quick heads up that that's now one you can get completed in the game. Cosmo gave a quick update right here, but special surprise, Bungie added a Season of the Worthy mod slot to the Escalation Protocol armor, so that armor is now fully updated to 2.0 with the seasonal mod slot, and presumably with that being a mod slot for this season. It's going to work with last season's mods, as well as next season's mods, on top of this season's mods, so it's nice to get a little update on that one at least, and that armor will be relevant again for a little while longer. Cosmo also said that they are investigating potential issues with the Void Feast bounty, where it's often not tracking target kills. Bear that one in mind if you do have any issues, but something to briefly mention right here which is pretty interesting. DMG responded to it on Twitter, but CharlemagneBot tweeted, last week 2.6 million Guardians played at least one activity in Destiny. The same week last year, only 1.3 million Guardians played at least one activity. Don't believe the dead game narrative, and don't let the negativity prevent you from having a great time. And assuming those stats are, completely correct, presumably, they are a pretty correct indication at the very least. It's an interesting one because when you consider the position of the veteran community at the moment, where there's quite a bit of frustration about the game, the seasonal model, all those things that we've all discussed so many times, yet apparently player numbers for the game are up very significantly. So I guess one of the number one things that this is saying is that New Light is probably working and must be bringing quite a few players on board. Of course, there has been the Steam move and a few other fairly significant changes since this time last year. But I'd definitely be curious to get a sense from you guys of what you think about that. Once again, I can completely relate to some of the frustrations that veteran players have especially. But obviously, if Bungie are getting that many new players into the game, especially as more folks actually purchase the seasonal content, it could say quite a bit about the potential sustainability of Destiny 2 moving forward. But at the same time, we should recognize the fact that Bungie have recognized a lot of our feedback. And so hopefully they are going to be poised to try and support all of the community right in the best way possible. Very interesting stuff nonetheless. Another thing I wanted to shout out very briefly here is that if you remember that scannable under the bridge in the Volunda Forge from back in Black Armory that no one could get access to, JB3 actually posted a video using the new emote glitch that are able to get down to it, and you can actually scan it, remarkably enough, but there isn't any dialogue or any scannable data actually there, so your ghost shell just scans it and nothing else happens. Definitely an interesting one. I guess Bungie were just teasing us all along. Unless it was some kind of accident, I'm not sure, but either way, a couple of random updates at the end there. But for this video, that's everything we have to round up, guys. Definitely really interesting to see how the story progresses and when we get that true pyramid story, whether it happens over 2 seasons, which I think is kind of what we're building up to. I think a lot of players could agree, though, that the peak of that story has to be happening as part of a larger expansion just to pay it justice, as we said before. So give us your thoughts on that, as well as the upcoming quest, some of the secret mission content and things that we're going to get later on this season, guys. But if you've enjoyed the video, again, a rating really helps me out down below. And I super appreciate all of the support you guys have shown. Since we hit 500,000 subs, we've actually gained quite a few more subscribers than we did in the weeks leading up to that. So I really do appreciate all of you guys sticking around and showing support. But for today, guys, thank you as always for tuning in. And whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.